Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's videos might be a little chaotic. You might hear the kids, they're here. A lot of the time I try to film when it's quiet or like when the kids are not here. So yeah, that's not the case today, but I did want to get this video up for you guys because I've been putting it off, to be honest, and it's quite a bit to talk about. So yeah, let's get into it. So I want to talk to you guys about curriculum. I know when you're new to homeschooling, when you're researching homeschooling, you will probably look at reviews or you'll look at just recommendations, depending on what kind of curriculum you're looking for. But I kind of wanted to go through my experience with what I started with and just kind of giving you guys some perspective, different avenues that you can take depending on your family and your lifestyle. When I first started homeschooling, I didn't think that there was much out there, to be honest, as far as curriculum. So when I first started, I was following a couple of people on YouTube that were homeschoolers, and they were all religious homeschoolers, and they were all using The Good and the Beautiful. So naturally, I was really attracted to that curriculum. It was open and go, and it was what we used for the first 2 years of us homeschooling for kinder and, well, actually maybe 3 years kinder, pre-K and kinder and first grade. So anyways, at the time I wasn't really aware about the secular homeschooling community, so I really felt kind of, just kind of stuck, just kind of in the sense of, well, I guess I'll just have to find my own, way around the religious ties in homeschooling. And through social media, through YouTube, through Instagram, and now TikTok, I have found so many more families that are secular. If you don't know what secular means, it just means non-religious. So that's in all aspects. Most people that are secular homeschoolers are secular families, like as a whole. Some people just use secular curriculum, but they still are a religious family. So there are different variations. So that's how we kind of started. Also, The Good and the Beautiful is a non-denominational Christian-based curriculum. So there were things that I would censor here and there, but I did start to notice that the older grades started to have more stuff that I wouldn't need to censor. Also, there was some controversy with the whole The Good and the Beautiful, and I just didn't want to support the company anymore, so I decided to branch out and look for other curriculum. So since then, we've done Torchlight, Singapore Math, East Academy for math, and we've also used Logic of English for language arts and phonics, which all of those are very affordable curriculum. I haven't splurged on anything super expensive. I am interested in like Oak Meadow. I am interested in other things, but I haven't actually purchased anything besides from the ones that I just mentioned. Also, something that I've utilized a ton now that the kids are in second and third grade, they're 7 and 8. I've been using a ton of Teacher Pay Teachers printouts and printables and packets and just activities, a ton of stuff from there. So definitely have evolved from just using an open and go curriculum like The Good and the Beautiful to now where we're using, like I said, Logic of English, we're using Singapore Math and Beast Academy together. We kind of go back and forth with the math. We're using Explode the Code for phonics. And at this point, I feel like I have a way better understanding of what the kids like, what they enjoy. They're at an age where they can tell me like, hey mom, this is boring, like I don't really like this, and I can find a way to either make it more fun or make it a little more interesting, or just realize that maybe that's not the curriculum for them. So I would definitely suggest just diving into anything, any workbooks, any kind of curriculum, as long as you find it affordable and you can start there. Keep an open mind and just realize that it might not work out, but it's going to be a step in the right direction of figuring out what will work out. That's where I tell a lot of beginner homeschoolers that that it's okay to find something that you think that is going to be really amazing and your kids are going to love it, and then they don't really love it, but maybe your next kid will. And don't splurge on anything unless you know that your kids will really enjoy it, or you have multiple kids and you're going to reuse it over and over. So let's go back a little bit and let me talk about how curriculum is different and what you need to look out for. So curriculum like Torchlight. Torchlight does not include any language arts or math. Torchlight is only for science, social studies, literature, stuff like that. The book lists are really great for Torchlight, so if you're looking for diverse, very interesting, and just not just, you know, whitewashed science and social studies stuff, Torchlight is definitely the way to go. So that's where Torchlight introduced me to Logic of English. Logic of English is great. I don't know if I would have liked it better if my kids would have started with it from the beginning. I'm looking into doing the Logic of English starting with my 3-year-old. Right now she's 3, but once she's at the age, the kinder age, I'm looking into using Logic of English for her and just kind of, you know, starting and using that for her. But I'm also keeping my options open. I have some time. I've also looked into All About Reading, All About Spelling, also for my soon-to-be 3rd grader, soon to be 2nd grader, since I wasn't a big fan of the Logic of English. It was a lot and it's just very schooly. And I like schooly. We started with Logic of English with 2nd grade and 3rd grade, or like level 2 and 3. And my kids kind of flew through it. It was a little bit easy for them. Before that, we were doing Blossom and Root for the language arts part. And that was a little too not schooly. It was a little too unschooly. So yeah, I need to find something in the middle. Right now, both of them are done with the foundations C and D of Logic of English. So I already had these books here that they used to use for their morning work for math, but I realized that they have 180 days of every subject pretty much. So I found the language for 2nd grade and the language for 3rd grade. And this is what they're going to be using for the rest of this school year till our school year is up. And they really like it. It's a page a day. And what I like about it is that it's pretty independent, but when you know they're done or when they have a question, I can kind of dive into what that concept is and, you know, really explain it to them. And what they already know, they can just do it and move on. So I do really like that about it, but obviously it's just too simplified in my opinion. If that works for you and that's what you'd like to do, that's great, but I do want to do something that has a little bit more spelling, a little bit more reading to it and stuff like that. So like I said, I'm still deciding on what we're going to do next year for language arts, but I'm definitely going to keep Singapore. I'm definitely going to keep Beast Academy. Beast Academy is great if you have a child that loves math and that they like to be challenged, they like puzzles and stuff like that. That's a really great math program for accelerated math kids. Singapore as well, I like Singapore a lot because it has a lot of the just foundations and core stuff that they need for math. So I really like using those together. They are doing dimensions math, and then this is the other thing that they're doing for language arts, but it's for phonics. It's called Explode the Code. Very affordable. You can get these on Amazon. There's a ton of them. I bought like the whole set, so they've been using those and they like these. These again are, you know, kind of independent, and like I said, when they run into some issue or whatever, I always check it after, or even at the end of the week. Sometimes if I don't check it that day, I'll just go back and I'll check what they did that week, and if I see that sometimes they'll write in IDK, or sometimes they'll just like cross it off and they won't do it and they won't tell me that they didn't do it, but then, you know, I can go back and look and I'm like, hey, look, let's talk about this, let's, you know, touch on this, and you know, we can really like polish up those edges that they missed out on. So that's all pretty much for the core subjects, things that I don't really have to worry about prepping for or really looking into. I do like to kind of look ahead, see what's coming up, but nothing really formal, although I do have to be on top of what we're doing for Spanish, what we're doing for science, social studies, geography, and then what novel study we're doing. We don't always do all those subjects every 6 weeks. We do Spanish and geography every 6 weeks just because we've been doing the 50 states since last year, since January of 2022. So we're almost done with all 50 states. We've been doing a state a week. We do that once a week and we cover one state. We use this book up here, our 50 states book. I get lots of questions about it too. I have it in my Amazon storefront for under homeschool books. I also don't really have to plan the geography. Like I said, I already have a workbook that I printed out almost a year and a half ago now, that we are still using. This is, and I got this on TPT. See right there, it says February 2022, if you guys can see that. We have Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming left, and that's it. So we'll be done with geography, so that's something I don't have to prep. We use this book and, you know, it's great. We love it. We'll watch videos on the state or facts or whatever we feel like doing. So sometimes I incorporate an art project with the geography state of the week. Sometimes I incorporate a history, read aloud, if we have a book of someone that's mentioned from the state. So that can vary, but for sure we do our geography. And then we do Spanish every morning for the 6 weeks when I like pre-plan. So those are things that I don't even really need to pre-plan. So geography goes along with the language arts and math and phonics that I don't need to pre-plan, but the Spanish I do need to kind of think about what we're going to do. So that leaves science, social studies, and history. So history doesn't always happen. Like I said, sometimes we'll do history read-alouds with the geography unit, but I don't have units or workbooks or anything that we utilize every 6 weeks right now for history. We do have the history of the US or the history of us. I'll post a picture here. I bought the whole pack and we do read those every once in a while. We have gotten off of reading those for a while, but I'm definitely going to utilize those in the future. And then for social studies, we were doing recently economics. I found a printout or a workbook situation on TPT of economics, and we're kind of just introducing the kids to what economics is, producers, consumers, all those things, and they really enjoyed that as well. So we're going to continue that these next 6 weeks because the TPT printable that I bought has a ton more stuff that we didn't use this last time. So it's going to be kind of like a reinforcing of the material from the last 6 weeks. So I'm going to print that out. I am also going to have them do some more art stuff, like an art study. We're going to be looking at different kinds of art and recreating it. So definitely excited for that. They're going to be really excited to do that. And I also found that on TPT. And then for the novel study that we decided to do, we're going to be doing the tornado book for our read aloud, for our novel study. I bought a no prep like novel study little packet that we're going to be filling out as we go. And then as Ramses and I were, you know, planning it out, and he had the idea of us studying tornadoes for the science portion of our school, and I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So I found a whole like natural disasters packet on TPT as well. So we're going to be doing that. So that's what it's going to be for science. So yeah, this is what my very sophisticated planning process looks like. Just writing all of the subjects on the side and then just writing what we're going to do for each subject. Sometimes do we not do it? Sometimes do we not finish every single thing that we planned? Yes. Like for example, we did the last 6 weeks we were doing a rocks and gems unit. The kids for pretty much the first half, maybe 3 weeks, we were good. They got what they wanted to get out of it, and then after that they were bored, so we just didn't continue it, and we just didn't do it, and that's that. So it's okay. I used to really beat myself up about it and like be like, oh, but we didn't finish it, but there's like pages, whatever, and we would do things, we would finish things, but you know, kind of like not really retaining any information and just doing it, to go through the motions. So I've kind of stopped doing that. If we stop enjoying it and we're not doing it, it's for a reason. So yeah. So after we figure out what we will be doing, I have some examples here. So we've done 28 weeks of school. So this was our last, it's not like finished, I didn't fill it all in, but this is what my like planner looks like on my iPad. And I just copy and paste things, and I just make another page, just change the dates on top, change the week to, you know, whatever, 29, 28, whatever. And then we're at 28 weeks of school as of last week. We school all the way through summer. We're year-round homeschoolers. The only time I don't count a week of school week is if we literally have it planned to where I'm not going to be intentional about what we're doing every single day, and where I'm just going to be able to do things that I would like to do, prep for the next weeks, and, you know, just kind of just take a mental health week kind of thing. So the kids, you can tell it's like the 6th week, and they're dragging their feet, and they're getting kind of like, okay, you know, kind of tired of you know, the routine. So 6 weeks really works great for us, because, you know, around that time is when we're like, okay, we're ready for a break, all of us. Okay, and the last thing is their morning work. So the kids used to have math. They used to have like a little bit of math to do in the mornings. They used to have handwriting, reading, and a journal prompt. So they used to do 4 things. So I started realizing that they weren't really getting it done. I was like forcing them to do it. I was reminding them a lot, and it was just getting to be this like stressful thing. So I sat them down and I said, hey, so what's going on with you know, morning work? Are we not feeling it anymore? Like, what's going on? I feel like the only thing you guys are getting done is like your reading and your journal prompts, you know, like what's going on. So they basically expressed to me like, I don't know, we don't want to really do like cursive and math, like, you know, this and that. And, you know, they were just kind of honest with me about it. And I said, all right, well, we don't have to do math or cursive anymore. They're, you know, like I said, 7 and 8, and I don't have any issues with their handwriting or anything. They're doing great in math, both of them. So I don't really feel like they need it, or they were really getting much out of it. It was just kind of starting to be busy work. So we nixed that, and they are only doing 15 minutes of reading. They have a independent reading time that they do in the morning, and then they have their journal prompt that we write on the board. If we don't write a journal prompt on the board, because it happens where we forget or we don't do it, they will simply write 3 things that they are grateful for. And we try to encourage them to think outside the box and not just say like, oh, I'm grateful for my iPad and my toys, and, you know, like, we try to talk to them about those things and how much more there is than, you know, the luxuries that we have. So we try to give them, you know, different things. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the journaling that they do. And I feel like it's just a great way for them to start their morning on like a positive note, and then they get a little reading in before the day gets started. They're usually up, you know, early, so it's nice and quiet and chill. What? What's wrong? It was a motorcycle. It went right out of the neighborhood. So yeah, guys, I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about for curriculum. If you guys have any questions, any suggestions, any experiences you guys might have had with language arts, that's where I'm kind of struggling to figure out what language arts I'm going to use for next year. Let me know in the comments. Also, you know, an encouraging word, hi, hello in the comments. It really helps my channel. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I also have a TikTok and an Instagram that is just for my homeschool homies. It's literally called Homeschool Homies. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.